Jacob Shaffelburg made a lot of headlines. Of course, his goal against Trinidad and Tobago, 2-0, Canada cruising to Copa America, led to a lot of TFC supporters reminiscing and maybe moaning about the deal that sent him away from TFC. So how about this, Oliver Platt? Either Lorenzo Insigne or Jacob Shaffelburg.
No sitting on the fence here. If we're talking about MLS, in MLS, excuse me, and if we're talking about under their current contracts, I'm taking Jacob Shaffelburg. Asked, and I think if you phoned up every GM in MLS, again, under those circumstances, they would agree with me. And it's not so much about Shaffelburg, really. Not that I don't think he's a very good player, and I do think it was a mistake for Toronto FC to let him go. So I'm really pleased to see him going from strength to strength for Nashville and for Canada. But it's more about Lorenzo Insigne, who is an elite talent, but has not performed at an elite level for Toronto FC since arriving in MLS. 20 games played last season in MLS, missed 14 due to injuries, 4 goals, 5 assists. In a salary cap league where you get those 3 DP spots and you have to maximize them, it's difficult to win with a guy like that earning what he does, performing like that. So I will give him credit. At the start of this season, he has been better. He's scored 2 game-winning goals. You can't really argue with that so far. So credit to him, credit to John Herdman for maybe opening up the possibility that this can still be salvaged, which I certainly didn't believe at the start of the year. But as of today, if you said to me, you can keep Insigne or no questions asked, you can cut him, no money to pay, just walks away as if it never happens, I'd still cut him and go in a different direction for TFC. So for that reason, I picked Shaffelburg.
Jordan Wilson.
I like it, Ollie. Cutthroat. Look, I think with this TFC, there's a lot of competent but average players, and I think you need some star quality. So Insigne that's what he brings. I get where Ollie is coming from because this is from a horrible season last year, one of the worst, and Insigne was in the middle of that. However, this team is built by the front office of TFC to have this star player, to have that star quality. Jacob Shaffelburg would be a guy, yes, he would start sometimes coming off the bench and maybe playing different spots because he's that versatile and he's that effective. But he'd be playing over like the Kobe Franklins or the Cozy Thompsons or Wusu, like he'd be popping in. But still, I'm gonna remain with they would need someone like this man to go and score these magical goals because they just don't have someone to do that. And I don't think Jacob Shaffelburg, I would replace him to go do what Insigne does.
This question to anyone across the world, who would you rather have, Insigne and Shaffelburg? They'd be like, Shaffel what? Shaffel who? That's why it's such an audacious question. It's really unique to Major League Soccer. Look, players like Insigne win teams MLS Cups. Like they do, Zella Ryans, like Luciano Acosta last season winning the Supporters' Shield with FC Cincinnati. The very good number 10, the straw that stirs the drink. And the balance of it, 13 goals in 37 or 38 games for Toronto FC is not a bad record. The problem is the other numbers, his salary, what he requires the club to pay out. And then his injury list. Let me just walk through this quickly. I just had it up on my screen. He's missed 3 games, 6 games, 1, 3, 5, and now he's done his hamstring again. He's turning 33 this summer. 24-year-old player who could have been domestic for Toronto FC. You can plug and play. Could have brought in another designated player that maybe the team could have used, maybe a number 9 somewhere, something like that. Right now, and I've talked to plenty of scouts across North America about this very issue. They say the young domestic player, manageable contract contributor. I think that most of them would side with Jacob Shaffelburg, as crazy as that sounds, and maybe Ollie's onto something. The one thing that Shaffelburg needs to do to step things up in his career, turn that work rate, the directness into more production. Just doesn't score enough goals or have enough assists. But if he can find a way to produce like he did as a youth player coming through, then look out. He could be something really dynamic moving forward.
Yeah, the health is certainly a big one with that contract number. I showed you the goal against the Revs. He was definitely tempting the football gods when he did the fake hamstring injury celebration. And now we're still waiting for an update on the Italian. Let's move on, Jordan Wilson, because there was a report that came out yesterday, an interview, I should say, with Jose Mourinho that got a lot of people talking. It's been somehow a conversation that we've been having for a little bit now about the head coaching vacancy for the Canadian men's national team. So I will give you this either or. You can either have Jose Mourinho leading Canada to Copa America and beyond, or someone else.
See, then I would rebuttal, but I'm not going to do this. But just for kicks and giggles, I would say back to you, which Jose Mourinho are we getting? But look, regardless, because it's different. There's levels. There's Chelsea, there's Porto, there's United, there's Roma. Like, which one we're getting? Regardless, I'll take any of them. Because I think at this point for Canada moving forward, and I've said this for a while, there's no slate on John Herdman. I think he is a fabulous manager. There's no slate on Marbiello. I think that he's a fantastic manager as well. They need someone that they could fear, that could challenge them, that could look them in the eye. And you know when someone gets close to your face, I remember I had a coach, he would get so close to your face, it was uncomfortable. And you look away. You didn't want to go and make eye contact. You get this close and you're trying to, but he would get his point across. And I think Alphonso Davies, Jonathan David, Kyle Laird, all these guys, these superstars that have been created in Canada would relish to play under someone that is no nonsense and could get the most out of them. And personally, I think it would benefit Jose Mourinho just being a coach of a national team and getting windows. I think he could get the most out of a group in a short time and get them up to tip-top shape for Copa America. But maybe we're dreaming. Who knows?
Oliver Platt.
I've never been the biggest fan of Mourinho, just in terms of the way he likes to play and so on and so forth. But I would take him in a heartbeat to coach Canada. Like, he's one of the biggest coaches in the world, one of the most successful coaches over the past 20, 25 years. Like, there's no question. I don't think Canada would have a chance of being able to afford him. I think he would command a multi-million-dollar salary, and that's before people jump and start saying, oh, Canada soccer's too broke to be able to afford any. That's not what I'm saying. There is a big gap between what Jose Mourinho would cost you and what a good coach, a perfectly good coach who Canada could attract would cost you. So I'm not saying that, but I just think this one would be a little bit beyond our dreams, I think.
Wheels.
Yeah. It's not Mourinho. And the reason why this comes about is interviews like that. He's like, maybe I'd love to coach a national team someday, maybe at the World Cup or Euro or AFCON or Copa America. And everyone's like, hey, Canada needs a manager. Canada's playing in Copa America. Let's be honest here. When he says Copa America, he's speaking about Argentina or Brazil or some of the, maybe the United States. Like,
yeah.
He is, with all due respect to our country right now, he is too big for Canada. And it's not just in terms of pay, it's in terms of expectation. You think, like, seeds of discontent being planted about certain things. Like, Mourinho's going to walk into Kevin Blue's office, who would be his boss. And I can't even fathom it. It's like an or. Like, Mourinho's managed Chelsea, Inter Milan, Real Madrid, Porto, United, Spurs, or it's not going to happen. And I think they can find a progressive coach that can maybe attack more and play a little bit more aesthetically pleasing football and find a balance between reality and, this dreamland stuff that people have. It's just, I'm not buying. And people that we work with are pushing this nonsense. It's got to stop. It's going to stop people.
Oliver Platt, right back to you with another doozy. So we know now that Canada will be playing Copa America. The tournament was going to happen, obviously, either way. But it'll run simultaneously with the Euros. Which do you think will be a bigger draw in Canada? Either Copa America or the Euros?
I actually think it's going to be the Copa America, and I don't think that ever would have been the case before, just because the amount of people in this country who support a European country of their parents' birth or whatever the case is. But I think, number one, Canada is in the Copa America, and Canada at major tournaments never fails to attract big audiences. It's the rest of the year where sometimes, getting them in the mainstream is the challenge. But when they're playing at a World Cup or an Olympics, or in this case, Copa America, I think the country will get behind them. And then the other one is Messi. Like, Messi is obviously his whole career been a global superstar, but since the World Cup, it's like nothing I've ever seen. And obviously it's been centered over the past few months in the United States because he's come to Inter Miami. So those two things for me, I think Copa America.
Wheels?
I'll go Euro, but I do think there'll be some one-offs. Canada, Argentina will be a massively watched game. Maybe not to the point of Canada, Belgium, but it's going to be a big deal, especially when you're playing the world champions. Perhaps if Canada makes it out of the group and, meets up with Brazil at some point, there'll be those one-off games that are going to make a whole lot of noise. But overall, in the balance, living in this country, as long as we have, Euro is a massive competition. I think it'll show in the discrepancy in rights fees that were paid for these two competitions. Euro is bread and butter. The pubs across this country, when England, France, Germany, Spain, Netherlands, like it's unlike anything else. It's like Yeah, Euro's an absolute beast. So I still think that one's a preferable one, or we'll get more attention, more eyeballs.
Break the tie, Jordan.
As much as I love the Copa America, it comes into third place. It's close behind the Euros. World Cup is obviously first. But because of the point of how multicultural Toronto, Canada is, like going to school, you're only Canadian when you leave. Going to school and you grow up here, where are you from? Polish. Your parents are French, British. Like when you're in Europe, you go and you watch the Euros and you're cheering for your country of your parents or grandparents. And that's just how it is. However, I will say two things stick out quickly. Is that Canada being in this Copa America, this is huge for anyone who gets a sniff of football. And then the last days of Messi. Lionel Messi is a once in a lifetime. And every time he steps onto the pitch now, he's attracting views. He's a once in a lifetime. Was that the hint? You're arguing that?
Well, Cristiano Ronaldo, like other players would be like,
conversation's over.
Once in a lifetime is
not a once in a lifetime.
Long. We have to move on.
But he's not
with the Euro flavor, but we do have to move on to our Tony Bet top picks. Presented by Tony Bet, it is Soccer Lines. The Euro tournament is set. I have some odds for you, gentlemen. Gareth Wheeler, tournament winners. England is the favorite. We discussed that earlier, plus 315. You have France at plus 343, Germany plus 578, Spain at plus 759, Portugal plus 778. Could all go on and on and on. You can pick a favorite or you can pick a value.
The best value, the team I think is going to win is France, and I'd still be tempted to bet them at that number, but Portugal at plus, what'd you say, 759, Adam?
That's
750.
Right.
I mean,
Portugal plus 778.
Honestly, they completely choked against Morocco in the knockout round of that competition, but they even have younger and some better players coming through who are going to be ready to contribute to this team this summer. Look beyond Cristiano Ronaldo, who can still start and still do a job for this team. The outfit around him is just ridiculously good. Portugal, I think there's some real value in making a play on them.
No time for explanation, Ollie, just the decision.
Germany under Nagelsmann concern me slightly. So plus 578. I think they're the best pick outside of France and England.
Jordan, name a nation. It's muted, but I can't read lips.
I think he said France.
That is exactly it. And Les Bleus have a fantastic flag, as we have discussed today.
Shout out to Tintin.
Vexillologist, and shout out Countdown for making an appearance today. This has been One Soccer Today. Drill is back.